that with the amount of talent you get, the amount of responsibilities you get. My name is Patrick Struebi. I'm from Switzerland, born, raised in Switzerland, and started my business life as a business consultant and then worked for a very large corporate organization until the moment I realized I make the rich richer and the poor poorer. It was like an epiphany. That was the moment when I sort of changed my life completely, gave up my job, very high paid job, took a sabbatical, sold everything I had, moved to Mexico. In Mexico, I wondered how can I use my trading skills to help the poor. And this is how I started an organization that was started in Mexico that I had to other continents too. So, and right now I'm based in New Haven. I'm at Yale. I got an assignment at Yale to promote social entrepreneurship. This was this epiphany, that really changed my life upside down, and at that time, I was like in my early 30s, and I had a well-paid job. I had an incredible position. I had a lot of the powerful position. Everybody envied me, and this was when I was on a business trip, in Peru, and I was with miners, and they lost their job, and then I just, I was working with those miners, and then I saw how difficult it was for them to find a job and how little money the company saved, but that all that money was flowing back to head office. And this was when I realized, wow, what am I doing, And then when I decided to leave that job, I had the world against me, In the first place, my parents, who said, you're like, how can you do that? You barely finished your education, and now we paid for your education, and now you just give it up. And then my friends, because my friends, they wanted my job, and say, why do you give up? Why do you, and so they really thought I'm crazy. That totally changed my life, And now it's coming up to 10 years actually when this happened. It's 9 years now that I started my company. And I never regret it, I never ever regret it. To the contrary, thanks to that tough decision, I found what is my true mission. I realized I had a very clear insight on. I realized that I was given a lot of talents, a lot of talents, but I realized I wasn't living up to the talents. So I knew I needed to find something where I can use everything I've been given to give back in a way, and with the amount of talents you get, the amounts of responsibilities you get. So the question is, how do you live up to your responsibilities? And so I embarked on this search, and it took me to Mexico, very far away. And I picked Mexico because Mexico is one of the few countries I've never been to before, because I wanted to really go to a neutral place. I needed to be in a place I've never been before. I landed in Mexico City not knowing where to sleep, And this is how I really, it's like really leaving everything behind, and also physically, because I could never ever have started that idea if I would have been in Switzerland, amongst my people. I needed to go into isolation, and even then, even being in Mexico wasn't easy, because you're said the second thoughts come, and say, are they right? Am I really lunatic? Am I crazy? Why did I give? It's like life is testing you. Life is testing. Are you really up to the mark? But the funny thing is the minute. The minute, sort of, you get the clarity. Say, no, it was right. Things fell into place. I met the right partners, and things moved on. But it's like it happens various times in my life. That once you get to these points where you question and you're unsure. Life's testing you until you have the clarity. The big challenge for me was really like the cultural differences. Imagine here comes the Swiss perfectionist, lands in this country called Mexico, where everything is like mañana, and then you start an organization. How do you start? How do you do that? And the funny thing was, at the beginning I came and said, okay, this is the way it has to be done. Like in Switzerland. And I was biting on the rock, and I had to learn that I'm in a different country, I had to adapt to their culture. And so it took me a lot of time really to find like this middle path, So I had to adapt because I had to learn that I am in a different country, and they had to learn if they wanted to really do a business that is successful, that is international, they also need to adapt. So we sort of had to meet in the middle. but this was also the recipe, and it opened my horizon big time, I mean, I came there and I learned a lot from the Mexicans, and I think the Mexicans learned a lot from me. Even today, it is like, how do you deal with these people? How do you deal with the different cultures? How do you adapt? Because when we replicated to Peru was different again, It's really finding the way how you communicate, how you motivate your people, because we are a very mission-driven company, extremely mission-driven. So you have to find those leaders, that understand your mission, but at the same time understand the cultural, and they speak the cultural language, Because I also learned there are certain things I can never do, As a Swiss, I can never go to the farmer directly and explain them what we do, because there's such a high level of mistrust. They would never, ever. I could never have done what my organization is. So I learned at the very, very early stage that certain things I cannot do, but I need to find the right people. So I need to find that people who understand my mission, the bigger vision, but those then in turn speak the language of the farmers. It's like so one of the key success factors that we developed was like locals for locals. It's like Mexicans for Mexico, Peruvians for Peru, Chileans for Chile. So and it has been an amazing journey. Finding out. It's really trial and error. You try something until it works, and then next time you fail. And this is like, I mean, and what we've been doing is a pioneering work anyway. So it's like double pioneering. And so you just find your way. Personally, it was very enriching for me also, because I really understand these cultures now. I didn't. I thought I would. I had no clue. Now I totally understand their culture, and they understand more the European culture, And if you would talk to my people today, they would tell you, it has made their horizon much bigger, and they're much prouder, and they see the impact that they do, because it's not me. When I replicated my model to Peru, it wasn't me. I haven't. Peru is our biggest market now. It wasn't me. I just found the right guy. I just told him what we need to do, and then he ran with it, And that's the thing. And so the key thing is that you have the mission. You find the people who do understand what you're doing, who totally buy into that, but who understand the cultural part of their countrymen. Because that's something I cannot do, but they can. So you need to understand who can do what on what level. That you really reach global impact.
Wow.